We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. I'm Jeff Parles. She is Alex White. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. Loaded baseball day for us today.
Full baseball day. College baseball picks coming in 30 seconds. So be on the lookout. 30 seconds, 1 minute into the show. Chris Andrews will join us 35 minutes from now. We'll get his thoughts on the rematch in the Stanley Cup final that is now set after Edmonton got out to a 3-0 lead and held on and ended up dispatching of Dallas yesterday in 5 games. So a rematch between Edmonton and Florida. The Knicks force a game 6 tomorrow. We'll break that down later in the show, and a whole baseball card, as Alex mentioned, right out of the gate. Alex, you can put it on up there. Kenny White, as promised, gave us a few college baseball totals. The NCAA tournament underway in college baseball yesterday. Remember, he gave out 2 sides. He gave out Duke and he gave out Northeastern yesterday. Alex, what does he have? It looks like 3 unders. And you guys saw one of these teams this past weekend here in Vegas right out of the chute.
Yes, we did. St. Mary's won the WCC. A lot of runs scored there, but of course that is a hitter's park. So St. Mary's, Oregon State under 13.5. Very good pitcher going for Wright State. So Wright State and Vandy going under that 12.5. And then Fairfield and Coastal Carolina under 13.5. So 3 college baseball plays for you today. Good luck, and I hope they all win.
Would be a good start to the day, even though all those games go in the afternoon. So just the college baseball tournament is one of the funkiest scheduling things you're ever going to deal with. A, because weather, for one. B, again, starting over the week, starting tomorrow, you're going to have teams playing twice in one day. So you have to be aware of everything that is potentially available throughout all of this college baseball tournament that is underway right now.
Did you make any futures?
Florida State.
Florida State.
That's it. Which is not good because your dad has them and thinks that pot is difficult, but the number was just too good to pass up. Granted, that if you made me pick who I think is going to win a national championship, I would take LSU.
Okay. I
would take the Bayou Bengals, but thought the number was a little too short.
Yeah.
I thought that they should have been around 10-1. Best number in the market was plus 475. Didn't love it. Don't think I want to see them get through. Maybe we'll take them get to supersede what happens around them. Arkansas is the betting favorite, the number 3 overall seed right now at 4-1. All right, let's get to Major League Baseball here on a Friday. And we begin on the north side of Chicago, the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. It'll be Colin Rea against Abbott for the Reds. Cubs, it was a bizarre series against the Rockies. Their offense scored a grand total of 9 runs in 3 games. Didn't matter. They swept. Just shows what the Rockies have not done this year. A total of 9 in this one, afternoon ball. Minus 55, the number. Make it minus 60 now, as that just moved moments ago. Minus 160 on the Cubs with a total of 9 in this game.
If you trust Cincinnati at all, I do think that this is a spot for them. I would look more at the first 5 plus that half a run, minus 120 here. These two have already seen each other. It was actually just not too long ago. And Abbott
last week.
Abbott pitched very well against them. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks in that one. And Colin Rea, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. So Cincinnati did hit quite well against him, and they have been hitting. If you look at the numbers in the last 7, both of these teams really have been. So maybe even looking at an over here, because it might help the Cubs, second time seeing Abbott. But it would be a lean to Cincinnati first 5 for me.
All 3 games in Cincinnati last weekend went over. The lowest scoring game was with this pitching matchup, 10 runs.
Yep.
It was an offensive palooza. Again, that is a great hitter's park in Cincinnati. But again, wind here today at Wrigley is okay. Right now, it's going left to right. It's not blowing straight in or straight out like it normally does. The rain should not come till later. And it's slightly out to right is the best way to put it, but it's not a generic like you would normally see at Wrigley one way or another. All right, let's go to Philadelphia. Philly split the double dip yesterday. They won the first one. Chris Sale delivered in an important, dominant performance in a nightcap for the Braves, who are in danger of really being in big trouble for going into a game on May 30th the next day if they had gotten swept in that series. It's Hall and Walker here as the Brew Crew come east. Minus 35 on Philadelphia, 9.5 at Citizens Bank here tonight.
I've got nothing in this one, so Hall should be an opener. It should be mostly Priester going for Milwaukee. So, I mean, adding in a little bit, Phillies playing 2 yesterday still doesn't get me to want to make a play here on the dog. So this was an automatic pass. Plus, I don't really trust Walker enough to lay such a big price on the Phillies.
Keep it in the National League East. We'll just go up the Jersey Turnpike with a little trip over the GW Bridge at the end, and one more bridge as well, the RFK. New York Mets taking on the Colorado Rockies. Minus 340 on the Mets, a total of 8. Again, Colorado. If Colorado loses, they will have the most games in a major league season before reaching 10 wins if they lose this game here tonight. That is obviously not what you want. They're 9-47. You do have 7.5s now on this total in the market. It's 8 here at the South Point. Mets offense has been all over the map. They had a good game on Tuesday, but really have not been what you would have expected in this month of May. Starts with, again, Lindor has had a down month. We don't have to go into Soto. Everyone knows that at this point. But this kind of feels like a series against 3 veterans who the Mets have all seen in the past, who all have or 2 veterans the first 2 days, Palmquist on Sunday. All these guys that the Mets are facing this week have north of 6 ERAs. If the Mets offense is ever going to get going, this would be the weekend. I would look for a Met team total, Alex. Find it, even if it's 5.5, see if you can get a plus price on that in a game that's totaled 8. I would take that tonight at home at Citi Field for New York.
You are correct. Mets offense batting 240 as a team in their last 7. OBP 340, 98 WRC plus. So this could be a really big series for them to get it going. And they do hit lefties well. They are 10th in OPS against lefties. So should see Freeland pretty well. It's kind of hoping both pitchers had better ratings. So I could just take an under with the way they have been struggling. And I mean, the Rockies are really bad. 44 WRC plus in the last 7. 210 batting average. So I was hoping for an under, but not enough to get there. So this was a pass for me.
Going next to Miami, Giants take the long road down to South Beach. The Giants continue this East Coast road trip where they started in Washington, took 2 out of 3 over the weekend. They just got swept by Detroit. The Giants have not liked playing the American League Central this year for whatever reason. Entering the weekend at 31-25. Giants only 3 games behind the Dodgers. Remember, Dodgers only a game over 500 in the month of May. Taking on the Marlins, who now pretty well stabilized into being the 3rd worst team in the National League. I know Pittsburgh has a worse record. Pittsburgh, to me, is still better, even with all their struggles, because I like their pitching more. Plus 150 on the fish today with Quantrill. Harrison's minus 165 on the San Fran side. And a total of 8.5 in this game, Alex.
Giants on the road this year, 14-16, so not terrible record, but really they struggle hitting. And looking at their last 7, and you just talked about the long road trip that they are on, 190 as a team batting average, 270 OBP, and 56 WRC plus. So that scares me here. Maybe it helps being in this ballpark, but really nothing jumped out to me. I don't want to lay 165 to see the Giants try and turn it around here. The numbers say under, but I don't trust either pitcher enough to jump in there either. Not a lot, at least
in these early games.
Games.
It feels like a pretty steep price on the Giants, but in the Marlins, after that reasonable start to the year, they're a mediocre baseball team. They're a team that's probably going to win 65, 68 games, something in that pocket, more likely than not. That would be good enough to go over the win total, though, if they manage to do that. But just not a particularly good baseball team. I'm still curious right now because we've talked about the NL, just the top-heavy nature of how good these high-end teams are. Entering today, the Giants would not be in the postseason. The Cardinals would be that final wild card in the NL. Mets, Padres, St. Louis would be the wild cards with the Phillies, the Cubs, and the Dodgers about a third of the way through the Major League Baseball season. Again, moving quickly here. All these teams about to play by the end of the week, and most of these teams will have about 60 games or right on it getting into the month of June.
To your point, though, about the Marlins and being just the 3rd worst, because it's really their pitching. I mean, this team can hit. And looking at their last 7 games, I mean, batting 290, 350 OBP, and 112 WRC plus. So lineup's okay. I think they just really struggle at the mound. But
it's just funny because you would have expected it to be the other way around coming into the year. Alcantara's obviously had the dreadful year. Meyer was great at the beginning, but has really tapered off. And for the average baseball fan, they might have been able to name 1, maybe 2 Marlins in the opening day lineup from a hitter's perspective. But they've, especially the last week, they, like you said, and scored at least 5 runs in all the games in San Diego, losing 2 out of 3 in that series. All right, we go to Arizona next. The Diamondbacks, who have, I don't want to say gone on rough times, but they're 2 games underwater right now, and like we said, in the National League that is as strong as it is, you do not want to be heading in to the 3rd month of the season in the position that Arizona and Atlanta are in right now. Diamondbacks dropped 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh this week. It'll be Merrill Kelly against Jake Irvin, minus 210 on Irvin and the D-backs. Total of 9 for this one. Nats last night up in the Pacific Northwest. Got it done in a ridiculous 10th inning.
Yeah.
Boy, if you had the under in that game, you're just sick to your stomach. A dead under, and then 8 runs in the Manfred Ghost extra inning. So Nats did take 2 out of 3 from Seattle over the weekend.
And they also took 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks in the first series that they saw each other. You're right about Arizona. They're 3-7 in their last 10, and I don't even think they're that good. I think they've lost 7 of their last 8 or something like that. Well, I guess that wouldn't make sense. 1 extra. Oh, anyways, they are not playing very good right now at all. I do think they have a slight advantage in this one with their starting pitcher, and the Nats lineup did not see Merrill Kelly yet, so I think that can help them out. He did give up 4 in his last outing in St. Louis, but before that was pitching really well. Against Colorado, 0 earned runs, 1 against San Francisco. So I think he'll be okay in this one. On the flip side, Diamondbacks did already see Jake Irving. It was early in the season, but 4 earned runs on 7 hits in 5 innings pitched, so I think they'll be okay here. Again, just a really big price to play for a team to try to turn it around. So with that losing streak coming into this one, I believe they lost 2 in a row coming into this one, so it's a stay off for me.
Nothing. That's like you said, huge price. Irvin has been all over the map, and he's been bad on the road as well. So stay out of that one and just move our way west to another NL West team hosting a game here today, Alex.
And Ryan told me something really interesting yesterday about the Diamondbacks. They are top 5 in all the hitting metrics, but they're the only team that is top 5 in all of that and still below 500. So that says a lot about this Diamondbacks team as well.
Bad staff at the moment, even with Burns really turning it around over the last few weeks where he's looked like an ace, but bullpen's been bad. Bullpen obviously let them down in a big way earlier this week. Speaking of Pirates, who are the opponent for Arizona, they took 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks midweek. Now they go a little bit more west to San Diego to take on the Pods. Pods took 2 out of 3 from Miami at the beginning of the week. It's Pivetta and Keller, minus 90 on Nick Pivetta, total 7.5. It's been a little bit of a struggle for Mitch Keller this year, as we've talked about on the show. Pivetta's been an awesome addition for San Diego. He's been arguably their best starter this year, him and Michael King. 7.5 for your total, minus 90 on the Padres. First 5 team total under for Pittsburgh potentially here today. If you can get a 1.5 at a reasonable number, not laying too much juice, that would probably be the way I would do it for a first 5 team total. They're going to struggle against Pivetta here more likely than not. And
I love the total under, and that we're getting 4 here between these two, because you're right about Mitch Keller did struggle at first. He did see this Padres lineup already. That is when they were hitting earlier in this month. So 4 earned runs on 8 hits in 5 innings pitched. Since then, he has not given up more than 3, and he gave up 3 right after that to the Cardinals, who are a very good lineup, and then held the Mets to 2, and then just 1 in his last 2 starts. So I do think that he'll pitch okay in this one, at least to start, seeing the lineup the first time around at least. And you're right, Pivetta, I expect him to pitch well. Pirates have not seen him yet. So 4, I'm happy to get that number. I thought it was going to be 3.5.
I would have agreed with you on that as well. Again, Keller's not been the same guy was last year. It really looked like he turned the corner and has regressed to what he was before he turned that corner. Yeah, 4, minus 0.5. Yeah, I think that's pretty good first 5 as well. I just don't want to mess around with the Padres offense started to hit this week against Miami. So wonder if that spills into being, that cold stretch that they were on for about 3.5 weeks. I wonder if that just came to an end.
Might have figured something out. I mean, looking at his last 3 starts, he had 8 strikeouts and 1 walk against the Mets, 5 and 1 against the Reds, and 7 and no walks against the Brewers. So again, I was saying all of those just 2 earned runs max, and the last 2 just 1. So maybe, and I will actually take my shot on this one to go under first 5 to see if he has figured it out.
Up next, we go to an American League only game, and it is the bottom 2 teams in the AL. As we all expected, the White Sox to be down there. We did not expect Baltimore to be down there to begin the first 2 months plus of the season. It'll be Eflin against, more likely than not, a bullpen game for Chicago here today. Minus 220 on Eflin. Plus 90 on the White Sox, total of 9. Alex, this is a complete stay away for me.
It is.
The only thing I'd consider would be going over that 9, but White Sox just had an offensive outburst game on Wednesday. Not the type of offense you expect to be consistent and put together 2 in a row, even against the Oriole pitching staff that has been brutal this year.
Man, I still just think Baltimore is overpriced. And while they have been better, I mean, minus 220 is just a really big number here. I do think it'll be Sean Burke coming in after the opener, who has gone 4 innings mostly. He had 3 games going 6 innings pitched. So if it is, I do think that helps him out a lot. Eflin has not been good this year at all. I mean, his last 2 starts, 8 earned runs against Washington, 4 against the Red Sox. So if anything, I would take that half a run with the White Sox getting plus 120 in the first 5 to at least keep this close. Total wise, I had nothing. I thought that 9 was just right.
Going to Toronto next. Jays and A's. It has been a bad stretch for the Athletics, as we've talked about. It's pretty bad last night, 12-0. The Blue Jays, thanks to an 8-run second, coast to an easy victory. They're minus 175 today behind their best starting pitcher so far this year, Chris Bassett. It'll be Jeffrey Springs on the other side for Sacramento, or just the Athletics. Total 8.5 on this one, plus 160 on the A's. As I said, minus 175 on Bassett and company.
Can't jump in here on the A's with that losing streak. And as we know, they pretty much have a AAA team up right now. So I just think it's going to take some time there for them. But I like the Blue Jays. I like them in this spot. Chris Bassett has been awesome. Coming off a bad start, but that was in Tampa Bay. So looking at his home numbers, though, I mean, he has just been really, really good. His median is 1 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. So if anything, I would try and look at that first 5 again, laying the half a run, minus 120, because it is minus 170 money line for the first 5. So minus half a run, minus 120, I'm seeing. Pretty good number there.
I'm going to just stay out. But again, the Blue Jays are an enigma to me, more so than anything, Alex. If their lineup ever gets fully consistent, the American League, you look at the AL. The Yankees and Detroit are the only 2 teams that I trust. And again, someone's got to win the American League West. We know that. But those wild card spots are very much up for the taking. Right now, ton of season to go, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Houston would be the 3 wild card teams right now. Royals are 30-27. Everyone is realistically, other than the White Sox and the A's, and even though the Angels are technically not far off, they're 5 games out. I don't expect them to be in the race either. Even Baltimore, with how awful their season has been, they have enough talent. You get hot and get back in this thing where, again, I think 85 wins is probably good enough to get that final wild card in the AL this year. But again, Toronto 500, very much alive in things still. Again, the Yankees are probably going to coast to that American League East in either the number 1 or number 2 seed. But those wild card places are very much in play over these last few months of the Major League season. All right, we go to Cleveland next. Speaking of the Angels, who I just threw under the bus, will be Soriano and Ortiz today. Minus 40 on Cleveland, plus 125 on the Angels. Total 8.5 in this one at Progressive Field, Alex.
Again, another one where these 2 have already seen each other early though, beginning of April. Angels did take 2 of 3 in that series. I think Soriano is definitely the better pitcher in this matchup. It's funny, though, because opposite happened. So Guardians actually won that game 8-6 with Soriano when he started. And then the Angels won with Ortiz on the mound 6-2. So that makes it really hard to handicap here. Lean to the Angels, though. Like I just said, they hit Ortiz very well. 3 earned runs in 6 innings on 7 hits. But, I mean, on the other side, too. But Soriano, 5 earned runs, 5 1/3. I think he's gotten better since then, and his command's gotten better. So that's the way I would look at it here. Angels as a dog, plus 115. Just a lean, though. I'm not going to jump in with how they've been playing.
Is that first 5 total really 5? That would be the way I would go. 8.5 with the first 5 is interesting. I would go 5, under 5, first 5. And you know what? If they beat me, so be it. That is
Mike Trout is back. Should be back.
Can he make it a full game? I hate to say that, but just the way that Trout has been unable to stay out on the field. Under 5, I would still, even with Trout back, I'd still do it, Alex. That is a. You don't see that very often in an 8.5. If it was 9, yeah, sure, 9.5, definitely, but 8.5, you don't see that very often on an under 5. That would be the way I'd look at it. All right, we go to Kansas City. Big series for the Royals. They welcome the Tigers in. It'll be Mize and Lugo this evening at Kauffman. Minus 20 on Detroit, plus 105 on Lugo and the Royals. Total 8.5. Alex, this would be a first 5 under at 4.5 for me. Look, Seth Lugo was going to have natural regression after last year an absolutely tremendous year. But if you just look at the ERA, that regression hasn't really shown up. So again, at some point, there is a worry on my end of when will the shoe drop for Lugo, who, again, has been really good since moving to being a starter in Kansas City. But this is a good under for me at 4.5, even with the strength of the Tigers lineup, even with the strength of Kansas City at home. I like this under 4.5 first 5.
Best pitching matchup, I'd say, of the day to
definitely top 3.
Yes.
Definitely top 3.
Two of the higher rated pitchers going against each other in this one. Tigers did take 3 of 4 in the first series at home. Can't give anything there for Kansas City, but these two have seen each other again on the same day. Tigers won 3-1 April 19th. Low scoring game. I do expect the same. Did highlight it for under as well. Are we getting 4 in this one? Should be at 8.5.
Yeah, 4.5.
I think that's a great number. Both of these, I mean, Mize, his median earned run is 1, 5.5 strikeouts and 1 walk. And then on the other side with Seth Lugo, it is 2 with 5 hits, but 5 strikeouts to 2 walks. So I'm with you. I think that's the best way to play this. I kind of lean the Royals just because, like I said, with the Tigers winning the first matchup between these two, and now it's the second time around. But I definitely like the first 5 under.
Going to Houston next, Alex. The Rays with a beatdown victory of Houston 13-3 yesterday. 10 runs combined in the 7th and the 8th for Tampa to put that game away. And now they'll throw Ryan Pepiot today. This is a good pitching matchup in its own right. Framber Valdez goes for Houston. -50 on the Stros. +135 on a takeback on Tampa. Total 7.5 on this one. Boy. First 5 is 4. And this is a pitching matchup that I would look to that. The only concern is, again, playing in that ballpark always scares me with that short porch in left field.
So that is one way to play it, and 4 is probably the right number. Both of their medians are 2. I actually like the Astros in this one because Tampa Bay has not seen Valdez yet, so I think that gives them an advantage here. Laying that half a run in the first 5 is even money. I think that's worth it. It's -150 on the money line for Houston, but a little bit of a payback after yesterday, and then the Astros have already seen Pepiot. I mean, he did pitch well, but still gave up 3 earned runs and a home run in that first matchup. So I think Astros is the way to play this one.
Up next, we go to Seattle. Mariners just lost 2 out of 3 over the midweek to the Nats, as we discussed earlier in the show. Twins lost 2 out of 3 to Tampa. This is a pretty vicious road trip here, going Tampa to Seattle before having to play in Sacramento. Geez, wow, schedule makers did them no favors with that road trip. -25 on Brian Wu. Matthews on the other side for Minnesota, +125, total of 7 up at T-Mobile Park tonight.
Love Brian Wu. That is definitely the side I want to be on today with the Mariners here. Laying half a run is now -105. It was even money overnight. So market also agrees with me. 6 of his last 7 starts have been on the road. He's only had 3 home starts. He only gave up 3 earned runs in all 3 of those starts. So that was 19 1/3 innings pitched for him. He's been awesome. I say you keep backing him until you see otherwise, but -0.5 a run for me in the first 5, -105.
Up next, Alex, nothing for me in that game. We go to Atlanta. It's Boston on the road at the Braves. Giolito and Holmes, your pitching matchup tonight. Red Sox just in a funk right now. Bregman goes out. They're not pitching well. They're just not playing well, period, at any side of the ball. Alex, I am going to say, though, that I don't think Grant Holmes should be a -165 favorite, even though, again, who knows what we're getting out of Giolito. It's still limited sample size after missing all of last year. +150 feels reasonable on Boston against Holmes, who, you look at the numbers, they don't look bad, but you got to go under the hood a little bit. Holmes has been fortunate this year to not have given up more runs this season. Not
to mention, it's just a bad spot here. I mean, playing the doubleheader yesterday against the Phillies, much more important, bigger series for them, and then coming into this one. So I would take a little bit off of the Braves and definitely agree with you. I'd lean to the Red Sox to turn it around here. I really think over is the way to go. I mean, these two lineups have already seen these starting pitchers. The Braves did take 2 out of 3 in Boston. Can give Boston a little bit of home revenge there coming into this one. But we saw Giolito give up 6 earned runs to this Braves lineup. And Grant Holmes actually pitched pretty well. 6 innings, just 2 runs on 3 hits. But I think that'll actually help their lineup, being able to see him for a second time. So if I were to play it, it would definitely just take a shot at that over 9.5 here.
So Red Sox for me, over for Alex on the look in that one. Now this next game, I know the numbers won't say it's the best pitching matchup of the day, but this is the most intriguing pitching matchup of the day for me down in Arlington. Again, Jack Leiter, we know, big-time prospect, second overall pick a few years back, up and down here to begin his season here in the majors. Matt Liberatore has been awesome for St. Louis. And if the Cardinals are going to make this playoff push, they need Liberatore to continue pitching like a borderline ace like he has over the last few weeks. St. Louis, minus 140 in those first 5 of the Liberatore. They're minus 130 for the full game with a total of 8.5. I'm staying out of this game because that under 4.5 feels good, but Seager's back. At some point, the Texas offense has to wake up. I just don't know if this is today. So it would only be, I wish I was getting a 5, first 5 and going under here, but intriguing matchup, period. Cardinals obviously playing great. Rangers just can't get out of their own way offensively right now.
I wish I knew the number of how many unders in a row here for the Rangers, whether first 5 or full game, but they just have not been hitting. Looking at their last 7, batting 150 as a team, 230 OBP, 28 WRC plus. So it has been just brutal for this Texas team. Like you said, I like the pitchers on the other side. Liberatore, he's been really good. He has not given up 3 earned runs since April 13th. It has been 1 or 2 for him. On the other side, I am a little concerned because the Cardinals do hit righties very well. They're 5th in OPS. They have the best batting average. So kind of a lean there to the Cards, even though I like that 4.5. You're getting even money going under. If you do want to take a shot and think Jake Leiter can hold them. But if anything, it would be a Cardinals play. Curious what that first half is here. Minus 130 is what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. Minus 130 first half, minus 140 here at the South Point. So I don't know. That's tough. I like both of those, Cardinals and that under 4.5. So
just real quick, 9 of the last 11 Ranger games have gone under. Both of the overs came against the White Sox. So
you're doing pretty well. Have you been playing that?
Yeah, if you've been going under, especially against teams that aren't bottom feeders, it's been pretty darn good on the Texas side.
Yeah.
We saved the best for last, the World Series rematch in LA tonight. Tony Gonsolin, Max Fried, great. Fried has been great this year. Gonsolin's been all over the map. Basically doing what he did before his Tommy John surgery, where he missed all last year. It's been all Dodger money so far because the Yankees opened minus 135 at Dodger Stadium. Mm-hmm. It's now down to minus 115 and even, total of 9. If you want something historic that will happen tonight, assuming that all 6 of these guys, Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Judge, OHTANI, Betts, and Freeman will all be in the lineup, which they all should be. It'll be the first time, and this is from the Elias Sports Bureau and Sarah Langs, it'll be the first time in Major League Baseball history that six previous MVPs, 3 in each team, will be in a single game. The only other time it's happened, there was a pitcher involved. It was Clayton Kershaw. So it was actually the Yankees and the Dodgers 2 years ago at Yankee Stadium, where it was Judge Stanton, Josh Donaldson, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Clayton Kershaw. Now it's 6 hitters. That would be the first time it happens with 6 hitters in the lineup. All I'm going to say is I would only take the Dodgers at a plus price in this game. As great as Fried's been this year, you're giving me the Dodgers at home at a plus price probably for the only time this entire season. I have to take it. And again, I missed the number, but there'll probably be another opportunity to get a little bit better as well. It would only be LA here, Alex. I can definitely understand that and can see why people want to take that, but I absolutely love the Yankees today. I went minus 120 first 5. I've already bet it here with the Yankees. Can't blame you. Max Fried, so good, and especially on the road. I mean, this is going to be a true test for him here against his Dodgers lineup, but
I definitely trust them to be ahead at 5. I also did a same game parlay for the first time because in 2 at-bats, Aaron Judge has hit a home run off of Gosselin. So I actually took over his bases, over 1.5, minus 135. I took over 4.5 for strikeouts for Fried. And I took over 2.5 earned runs for Gosselin because I think that this Yankees lineup is going to get to him. He gave up 4 earned runs to the Mets, 4 to the Angels. Where's the next? He did really good against Arizona, who we know is not hitting right now. And then 2 and 3 to Miami. So I definitely think the Yankees are going to be able to hit him. Just to be safe, first 5 for me. But I would, if you made me play the full game, I'd go for the Yankees here in this one. Remember, we've got a little World Series revenge, too, that I love.
3 games set out in L.A. Only matchup between these teams this year. It'd be a good weekend of baseball at Dodger Stadium to wrap up the month of May and get us into the month of June. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Chris Andrews joins us. Trivia will be on the ticker as well when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. And now joining us, our good friend, the sportsbook director upstairs here at the South Point, our one and only Chris Andrews with us right now.
What's going on, guys? It's been a while.
It's good to see you.
You
There's just a little bit going on still right now, even though we're about 3.5 weeks away from being able to take a little bit of a breath and really look towards football and more of the second half of baseball. But I want to start with hockey. We know the final.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it again. Second consecutive year with Edmonton and Florida. And, I know Florida was impressive last year in the East Final and dispatching of the Rangers, a really high-end team that I know a lot of people bad in Edmonton was impressive, beating the Stars a year ago as well. But both of these playoff runs for both Edmonton and Florida this year, to me, have been more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, for the third consecutive year, making the Cup final, not showing any sign of slowing down. And Edmonton, it's almost like I'm sure people will forget. Edmonton was down 0-2 in round one against LA. Skinner,
I did forget.
Skinner went to the bench because he gave up 12 goals in 2 games. And here we are 6 weeks later. Skinner's been arguably the best goalie in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Edmonton with home ice this year is the smallest of favorites at -115 in this series.
I'm up to 120.
Up to 120.
I took a small bet on Edmonton, not much, but we're in a position. We're in a good position with both of them, but we're in a great position with Florida and just a good position with Edmonton. So right now, I don't really want any more Edmonton money. So I think I'm at the high watermark at $1.20. I think there was one other $1.20 in the market, but I know this morning when I looked, Circle was like $1.10. It's mostly $1.15. I'm at 20. Not that I don't like anybody really. Probably gun to my head, I'd probably take Florida, but I'm just not looking for any more Edmonton money right now.
Is that where you opened up, Chris, with Edmonton as a small favorite? Or
I opened $1.15.
Okay. So
went to I made a mistake. I went to $1.10. I was looking at it wrong. And then then we're at $1.20 now.
Okay.
This is such an interesting series.
Yeah.
Because rematches in the Stanley Cup final don't happen very often. I'm gonna have to go through it real quick to give you.
Did Pittsburgh and Detroit?
Yes. That was like 07 and 08, right?
Something
or 08
like that,
and 09.
Yeah, 07, it sounds about right.
Pittsburgh and Detroit 08, 09.
08,
so
09.
this is the
09,
third time, and it just happens to be with Gretzky. With Edmonton, they lost to the Islanders in 83.
And then won the next year.
Won in
and then
84.
Pittsburgh lost to
With
Detroit.
Sidney Crosby,
And then won the next year.
Right.
So if the pattern holds, Edmonton will win this year and win the first Canadian Cup since 1993.
I wouldn't go to the bank with that, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Canadian team win. I really wouldn't. I think it'd be good for the sport.
It would be super, super interesting. I agree with you. It'd be great for the sport if Canada finally won a cup after 32 years.
Well, who's the last winner?
Montreal.
What year is that?
93.
Wow.
And Vancouver had a real shot the following year in 94 against the Rangers.
McLean was the goaltender.
Even though in retrospect, that was not a particularly good Canuck team, even though they almost won the cup. There's obviously been a lot of other missed opportunities. Vancouver had a great one in 2011.
And then I picked Toronto every year.
I picked Toronto this year
again.
Too.
Why not?
Yeah. Hey, look, man. Hey, look, Chris. It's at some point Toronto's going to win, but the problem is all three of us might be in the ground.
I was going to say, I don't know how many years I have left, so who knows?
So, but I'll just say this: we'll have plenty of time to break this down. We'll make our official pick next Wednesday because that's when the series starts. Mm-hmm. Stuart, it's not this is master of the obvious stuff, but Stuart Skinner is the whole ball wax in this series. Because if we get the version of Skinner we've seen this postseason,
which one?
No, the good one, the one
okay.
after the first 2 games, and the one we didn't see and the one not game 1 against Dallas, third period. Yeah. Really, has only had one bad period since coming back in action. So, even though it'll be so interesting to see what the Conn Smythe is, I expect McDavid to win it if Edmonton wins it. But boy, if Skinner is a huge series, maybe.
What do you think Draisaitl's? He has a chance.
Draisaitl's plus 850 right now is the best number in the market on McDavid. Skinner, I'm telling you, Skinner at 80 to 1.
What's Skinner's price?
Skinner's 80 to 1. That feels
really.
That feels like that's worth a small bet, right? Again, if Edmonton wins, I expect McDavid to win the Conn Smythe for the second straight year. But boy, that's a really good price on a guy who has been awesome and really been the key to the operation.
Well,
these last
how
2
many
series.
years do you look back and you say it was the goaltender who won the series? Really going back. God, I don't know how many years. Not Gretzky, Lemieux, but some of the other teams that have won it. You'd look back and it was the goaltender that led them to the championship.
This Florida team is a different animal, right? He's going to give up goals though, and if Edmonton wins, they're going to outscore them early and often, and that is kind of what we've seen from this Oilers team. They look like they're on a mission.
Yeah, but I would say this too, though, that Oiler defense, I think, is clamped down. Not just Skinner, but I think the defense is clamped down in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. No, they have. They've definitely.
Albin, the defense in the Vegas series was outrageously good, and even in this past series as well. Minus 120 right now on Edmonton. We'll have a full breakdown as we go through the next week. Going to the NBA. Thunder are already there.
Yeah.
I know you've said you're in pretty good shape on Oklahoma City. Good balancing of the book through the year. The East is not decided yet. The Knicks put together their best performance of this series by margin last night. One of my Pacer fan friends said it was the worst performance they had all postseason. I agree with him on that as well.
Yeah, Halliburton was
had a bad night.
6 points or
Bad
something
night.
like that.
Pacers are still minus 340 to win this series, up 3-2. Scene shifts tomorrow to Indianapolis. Pacers are 4-219, Chris. Just what have we seen so far in the early action?
Over 3.5.
Yep.
Up to 4. I have to say I like the Pacers in this game. I was talking to a couple of my supervisors. I think I mentioned it on the show about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks, something like that. I was saying this Pacer team is vastly underrated. Now, I didn't think they'd make this kind of a run because they've really looked terrific. But I think they're, number one, a well-coached team. I think they have some very good depth. They got a couple of stars to rely on in key moments between Halliburton and Siakam. I like them in this spot, I think. And I think you saw a team yesterday. I was thinking of one of the quotes that I've seen many years ago. You got one team, it's like the rabbit and the coyote. The coyote's running for a meal, the rabbit's running for its life. And that was the Knicks last night.
It's tough because you don't want to overreact because the Knicks did look so good. But, I mean, going into that game, we were worried about Cat and having an injury, and he played
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now what happens this next game? And they really figured something out. I mean, Halliburton struggled so much because they would not let them run, right, and slowed it down, played good defense. Can they do that again? But like you're saying, I mean, that was a desperate spot. So now going back to Indiana.
I like what Chris said. It's just natural, right? Finish a series in 6 at home as the lower seed. 4 right now. You said open 3.5, so small little action on Indiana. It would only be the Pacers for me in this game. Total's about right? 219, just based off where everything's been in this series. Yesterday went under. Pacers got held under 100.
Yeah.
But if it's Oklahoma City and Indiana, Chris, how big regardless, it really doesn't matter who wins this series. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma City is going to be a huge favorite.
They're going to be a big favorite, deservedly so.
And they should be, where we talked about this the other day. I brought this up yesterday, this Evan Abrams tweet and stat from the Thunder this year. Oklahoma City, Chris, is 61-35-3 against the number this year.
Wow.
That is the best ATS number entering the NBA Finals in at least the last 30 years.
Yeah, I would believe that. Yeah.
63.5%.
Do you see any projected prices? I know what I have in mind.
You know what? I haven't looked, but
I'm not the greatest NBA guy. I'm going to go on record saying that.
Look, $8, $7.
Oh man, I think that's a little high.
I know that's steep,
I'll tell you why. Because when you get numbers that high, the
people
public,
are just going to take the dog.
They're going to take the dog. So maybe they deserve to be 6, 7, 8. I was thinking more like 6 is a high water mark.
Right now, you have them at $7. So
I know. Yeah. Well, again, that's against either or.
Right.
I don't know. I think if you put it up right now, like 7, either team 7-5, I think the money would just come in on the dog.
I will say I expect Oklahoma City to beat either team in 5 games. They're just so much better than everyone else.
I would go on record also saying, if I'm stuck with Oklahoma City,
you're okay.
I've been in worse positions. Trust me.
Oklahoma City 68 wins in the regular season. And that ATS number just shows a monster in plain sight, Chris.
That's incredible. I would not have guessed that. I mean, I knew they were pretty good against the number, but I would not have guessed that. And they really, I see, the media, they always want to rush to some sort of conclusion. Are they a team for the ages? Can we let them win one championship first, And I think they have a great nucleus. I really do, but injuries happen and, guys, the money goes to their heads and all kind of other things. But I think that there's a team that's built to last for a while.
Oklahoma City has every player under contract next year that's on the roster. They are also under the first and second tax aprons.
Really?
So they have money to spend if they
have
want.
draft choices,
and
too.
they have a zillion draft choices. Yeah, look, Sam Presti.
Yeah.
It's funny because through the years, like, people have at times made fun of Presti for just accumulating asset, and never using. But look, that Paul George trade ends up as one. Again, sometimes franchises are the way they are for a reason. The Clippers are the Clippers for a reason with that deal.
For like 50 years.
At the time, they're the only team without a conference final appearance in the NBA.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, only one at this rate. Or excuse me, not conference finals, NBA finals appearance. My mistake on that.
Can you make a case for anybody else besides SGA for MVP?
What, for the NBA finals?
Yeah.
Boy, J-Dub is the only other one that would make any sense, but if Oklahoma City wins this series, what's the path?
Wow.
Like,
I mean, for the finals, well, again, projecting, I mean, if it were the Knicks, I mean, Brunson would have to be out of his mind.
Oh, well, yeah. If the upset happens in the final,
then it's different.
If the Knicks get there, it's Brunson. If the Pacers get there, it's Halliburton. But, just looking at J-Dub's 40-1, Holmgren 75, Dort, Caruso, Hardenstein are now winning it. I mean, you would have to have a scenario like the only one I could think of where you got the weird finals MVP was Golden State's first championship.
Yeah.
Was Andre Iguodala.
Right. I forget.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that.
I was booking it back then. That was a monster number and just a crazy result. But he was kind of deserved. He deserved it. Yeah.
Curry had a down series, and Iguodala had 2 triple doubles. I'm pretty sure in that series. So you can get the wonky one like that, but boy, it'd be hard pressed in order to see that. Again, I would say J-Dub would be the only way to look at it, but it's hard if Oklahoma City's going to win if it's not going to be SGA. Chris, you're booking both the Women's College World Series.
Yeah.
Oklahoma nearly got beat yesterday.
I know.
They probably should have gotten beat by Tennessee. And the college baseball tournament
starts today.
Underway already today.
We got 32 games today. So, should be fun. And we got all the games. We got money lines. We got money lines, obviously. We got run lines, totals. So it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, and listen, these kids really play hard. That's the thing. You see some major leaguers loafing every once in a while. These guys ain't loafing. They're playing hard. They run out every hit. They go for it in the field. I mean, it's and the girls probably even more so. The women play a great fundamental game of softball, baseball.
It's Oklahoma is going for history on the women's side, where.
What would it be? 3 in a row?
No, I think isn't it 5? Right, 5. Right. 5 it would be other than Wooden's UCLA teams. It's never been touched in women's sports. 5 straight titles in any sport, but they since 13, 16, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Yeah.
And Patty Gasso in her 31st year.
I'm going to go Homer. How about Penn State's wrestling? They're
pretty good, too.
Pretty good, too.
They're pretty good, too. Not going Homer, but hey, it's okay, Chris.
Yeah,
hey. Going for number 5 in a row. I will say also, just with the format of the softball and the baseball, very rarely happens this way in the softball because it's the number 1 seed almost never loses, and A&M got beat in the regional this year.
Yeah, right.
The top 4 seeds left in the tournament are all on one side of the bracket in the Women's College World Series this year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just bizarre. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But they all ended up on that side. They should reseed when they get to Oklahoma City and Omaha on both ends. Oh, by the way, like Arkansas, almost minus 40,000 favorite here today on the baseball side against the Bison of North Dakota State.
You see some pretty big numbers.
That's a pretty good one there. Arkansas, you're betting favored right now to win the title. Have you taken any big whacks on the College World Series futures?
No,
not really.
No, we just opened it. We got a couple bets, but nothing big.
No big whacks. All right. Football.
Yeah, NFL.
You have week 1 up.
Mm-hmm.
You have divisions up.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule is known now.
Mm-hmm.
The jackpot card is out.
Yeah, we got that up.
Get them out early and often here at the South Point and up in the Rampart. $5. 14 games in one total.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we have to have 15.
Moving it to that Friday game changes it.
Yeah.
And of course, as many cards as you want, $25,000
And we use the
guaranteed.
total on that great Sunday night game rather than wait until the Monday night game.
Oh, good.
Correct move.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Ravens and
well,
Bills.
I also thought too, gives guys a better chance to hedge.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Because then you know kind of what you need. It's hard to hedge with two options. So not side and the total.
That would be an interesting one on that Monday night because you have Chicago and Minnesota's that Monday night game.
Yeah, which is a good game.
Which is to me, it's a very intriguing game, and it's a 1.
Yeah.
So that could be one of those where there will be people that will have multiple cards. They'll have a Chicago or Minnesota
Hope
card.
so. Yeah.
Don't have to hedge it at all. One of those cards has to win in that scenario. Well, if we end up with a tie, whatever, that leg just gets thrown out, right, Chris? And if we
Ties,
get the tie,
both sides win.
Yeah, both sides win. There we go. So, boy, and also too, we were talking about this on Tuesday, Alex. Last year was such a bizarro week 1 last year because there were a lot of big lines.
Yeah, Bengals lost.
Bengals got beat by New England as the biggest favorite on the board. It was Survivor hell early in the year last year. Sorry. But Chris, I can't remember a week 1 where the teaser legs in recent years where you have, I'm just going to rattle through them real quick. Philadelphia from 7-1.
Yeah.
Chargers from 2.5-point dogs to 8.5-point dogs. Pittsburgh and the Jets, there's some 2.5 in the market right now, so you can get the Jets to the 8.5. You have Indy and Miami as a pick, so either side on that. Carolina at 8.5 against Jacksonville. Washington to -0.5 against the Giants. Some books have Arizona at 6, so pick on Arizona. Now, I'll tell you.
What do I have? 5.5?
You have 5.5.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be on New Orleans week 1, and I'm going to hate myself halfway through the first quarter of that game when Tyler Shuck is throwing 2 interceptions in his first NFL drive. Atlanta to 8.5 or 8. Denver down to 1.5 against Tennessee. I'm not done yet either. Seattle up to 7.5 at home against San Francisco, and then Detroit up to 7, Baltimore up to 7.5, Chicago, Minnesota up to 7. I basically just listed the whole board there.
Yeah,
that are all in pretty good teaser position for week 1.
Well, you're right.
Yeah,
but let me throw this out there,
please.
Okay, the way people and not that it's wrong, but this is what people do, right or wrong. When they look at that first week, it's kind of a anticipation of how that team is going to be the entire season.
Agreed.
Okay. That does not always come to fruition. I mean, last year, you mentioned New Orleans. First 2 weeks of the season, it looked like they were going to waltz to the Super Bowl.
Right.
91 points.
They wound up being one of the worst teams in the league. Okay. So that's my caveat to bettors everywhere, and I probably shouldn't say this, but tread very slowly. Tread slowly because things will happen in this first week. And again, I just gave you New Orleans, or you'll look back at the end of the year and say, how the hell did that happen? And, last year was a completely inordinate number of favorites that won. Somebody had a number of it's Ralph Michaels, I think, who does a lot of good work like this. Favorites of 3.5 or more covered at a number that we haven't seen in 40 years. Mm-hmm. But the teasers, surprisingly, were not that bad from a bookmaker standpoint. Not that bad. Remember, we looked to change some prices, but we kept our 2-team teaser prices the same. So I don't know. They're be careful.
Just to more of your point, if you want another more fun with numbers, Joe Burrow, who we look at as a high-end quarterback, is 1-9 combined in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Really?
Outright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think that might be an institutional problem with the Bengals.
I would agree on that,
And I remember telling guys that last year when our group went big on the Bengals. And I remember saying this, and certain things you talked about the Clippers. The Bengals have been much better in the last maybe a couple decades. But one thing that held them back last year, I remember them kind of bragging they had 12 rookies on their opening day roster. And I said, I know the Brown family. They're just looking, I got 12 rookie salaries, rather than most teams have like 8, 9, something like that. He had 12. And I know the way their mentality works. Look at all the money I saved. And meanwhile, it took till the end of the year before they actually, reached what we all thought they should have been in week 1. So be careful of that.
Any news you're hearing from Pittsburgh? Are you guys signing a veteran quarterback anytime soon?
I thought we were friends. I'm hoping not. Listen, and not that Mason Rudolph is great, and not that what's the kid out of Ohio State?
Will Howard.
Will Howard. Not that he's great, but but we're going to go for a 40-year-old quarterback that hasn't played well in 3 years. I just don't see it, and all the drama that comes with it. We just don't need it. Now, some people were talking about Kirk Cousins, which I wouldn't mind Kirk Cousins, but that would be a trade. Yeah. What would the Steelers have to give up? He has, I think, $35 million guaranteed over the next 2 years. So it's a whole different thing. I'm willing to go with Mason Rudolph. Really, I am.
Listening to a lot of like Pittsburgh media and stuff, where do you think it's going?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Right now,
really
and I don't think anybody else is sure.
Right?
Yeah. The Steelers are known to be, they're on lockdown as far as like spilling the beans to the media. They don't do that.
Well, that's a sign of a good program, right?
Yeah, we're starting to have some questions there too. So.
I will all say is, even though Mason Rudolph is a good backup quarterback, he's not a starter.
I know.
I'd be much more inclined to take the under if Rodgers is there for all the reasons you outlined, Chris. But it would make a lot of sense that Tomlin's never been underwater, and it finally comes to and Rodgers just blows up the culture. Like, well, there was no culture to begin with in New York, but you understand what I'm saying.
I definitely understand. And that's what that's why I don't want him there. I really don't.
Yeah, crazy. It's May 30th. Like, make a damn decision already. To say the very least. And, of course, the schedule makers booked it perfectly where the Jets and the Steelers are playing in week 1, where at least it's a minimum, it's a Fields versus his team he played for last year.
Right.
Very easily could be the quarterback swap I think it's going to be when Rodgers decides that he's going to play for him more so than not. All right. We're going to take the shortest of breaks so Alex can get the whiteboard set up. We'll have the trivia answer. We'll see if Chris knows the trivia answer as well when we get back to wrap things up for the week on Sports by the Book.
Football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Chris Andrews on the far end. All right, trivia question of the day. Chris, which two MLB teams completed a trade of outfielders between the morning and afternoon games of a Memorial Day doubleheader on this date in 1922? Alex spoiled one of the answers during the break.
Okay, I don't know the 22, but didn't Joe Youngblood, didn't that happen to him on, I'm thinking like in the 80s? But I don't know.
I'm gonna double check you on that, Chris.
Okay. I think that may have happened then. So the Cubs and the Cardinals.
There you go. Good guess. So with knowing the Cubs end of it was St. Louis and Chicago. back in 22. It was Max Flack traded to the Cardinals for Cleve Heathcote, and both players recorded a hit for their new teams in the afternoon. So there you go. Nick, third win of the week, getting that one right. By the way, you're Joel Youngblood. Joel Youngblood is the only player in Major League history to get a hit for two different teams in two different cities on the same day.
Oh, two different cities. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Started the day for the Mets, got a hit on the road at Wrigley, then got traded to Montreal and flew to Philadelphia, got a flight from O'Hare. This is great. 6:05 flight from O'Hare to Philadelphia. Easy trip from Philadelphia International to the stadiums. That's less than 10 minutes without traffic.
Yeah.
Got in the game, pitch hit, got a hit off Steve Carlton.
Oh, wow. That's even more bizarre. Yeah.
Got a hit off Steve Carlton in the 8th inning of that
I knew
game.
there was some Joel Youngblood weird thing like that. Okay.
Yep, there you go. The article that blames Manny Trio for not fielding the ball cleanly, so that's why he got the hit. So there you go. But yep, he's the only one in Major League history to do that.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome. Honestly.
I knew there was some weird thing about Joel Youngblood.
And you know what? Would have expected. Oh, Chicago, Milwaukee, Chicago. No, Chicago actually needed a flight and got hit that way. That's crazy. So, all right, before we go, Alex, you got a whole collection of baseball here for the final show for us here in the month of May.
I've got 6, and actually 4 of them are sides. And remember, if you want the 3 college baseball plays, they're at the beginning of the show to switch it up. So my 6 plays, I like the Pirates and Padres going under 4 in the first 5, like both of these pitchers going today. I like the Blue Jays -half first 5, -120. Toronto playing very good right now. Tigers and Royals, again, 2 of the better pitchers going today. We're going under 4.5 in the first 5. And then a couple sides that I like. I like the Astros. Framber Valdez going today -half a run in the first 5 is even money. The Mariners -half first 5, even money. And I like the Yankees -120 first 5 with Max Fried on the mound.
There we go. 6 to get you here on the weekend, Alex. Again, the college baseball plays from Kenny came at the beginning of the show, 3 totals. So once we're done here in a moment, flip back to the beginning and rewatch the show, and you'll get those plays at the beginning of the show. Chris?
Great seeing you guys.
Great seeing you as
Great
well.
being on here.
Enjoy your weekend. We've made it to June in 2 days, amazingly enough. Alex, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, you and
too.
I will see you on Monday. Ryan, Drew Dog, Sean, Vince, thank you all as well. Gone Racing comes your way on the Gone Racing channel in a little under an hour. I will be there today. We're making Beat Talk NASCAR, Chris. Always a fun side. I'll be Jeff and Jeff. I'll be with Motley at noon previewing this week in Nashville on the NASCAR circuit. We're back Monday. Make sure you're following the page right here on YouTube. Alex and I will be back to get you ready potentially for a Game 7 or the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final and much more here on Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio.